Taxonomy is a scientific study of classifying organisms. In this slide, which of the two animals do not fit in? Or in other words, which of the two animals are not crustaceans? I will reveal the answer at the end of the presentation. Hi, my name is Matthew Gates, and I'm a student here at Reinhardt University in North Georgia. Today I'm going to share with you some information about assimilation theory. This theory comes to us from a paradigm or school of philosophy called cognitivism, which explores how the brain attends to information, encodes it, and retrieves it. Why should we learn assimilation theory, and how can it help us to become a better teacher? Well, we should learn about assimilation theory so that we can know how to match the instruction to students' pre-existing knowledge to ensure that learning is meaningful. For today's lesson, there will be 3 guiding questions. The first question is, what is the history of Ausubel's assimilation theory? The second question, what is the big picture of this theory? And finally, how does assimilation theory look and not look in a real classroom? First, I will address the history of assimilation theory. David Ausubel was a cognitive psychologist born in Brooklyn, New York. He proposed assimilation theory in 1962. This assimilation theory basically emphasizes meaningful learning over rote learning. Assimilation theory aims to define what meaningful learning is. Essentially, meaningful learning is the assimilation of new concepts into existing concept frameworks held by the learner. There are several key concepts that make up the big picture of assimilation theory. The first concept is that new information is related to what the learner already knows. The second key concept of assimilation theory is the foundation of appropriate new anchoring ideas before learning the specifics of an unfamiliar discipline. This means that when a teacher instructs, he must introduce the most general content first, and after that, he must teach the specifics. The concept of assimilation theory is learning the substance of ideas rather than verbatim language. This means that the student understands the gist of the topic, and therefore the student can relay this information back to the teacher in his own words and language without strictly using textbook terms and language. Now I'm going to give an example of how assimilation theory doesn't look in a classroom. Pretty much this type of learning is rote learning. Rote learning is essentially the antithesis of meaningful learning. Rote learning occurs when the student memorizes facts verbatim and then regurgitates them onto a test or a quiz. This type of learning is ineffective because the student didn't learn anything. He doesn't grasp the concepts completely and he can't describe it in his own words. And this is rote learning. Now, I will describe how a teacher would incorporate assimilation theory into a taxonomy lesson in a biology class. First, the teacher would begin by asking the students if they know what taxonomy is. He would be testing their prior knowledge by doing this. Next, he would define taxonomy. Scientifically speaking, taxonomy is a study of classifying organisms. In defining taxonomy first, the teacher is laying down the anchoring idea or the most general idea to begin with. Next, the teacher would list the different levels of classification. These include domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. Finally, he would cover the specifics. In doing so, he would describe which animals belong to which level and why. Now I will reveal the answer to the first slide. A manatee and chupacabra are not crustaceans. They do not fit into this class because they lack two-parted limbs. Also, most crustaceans are free-living aquatic animals. A chupacabra certainly does not match this description. Now, I'm going to review the three main concepts of assimilation theory. Basically, all three of these concepts aim to describe meaningful learning. The very first concept is that new information is related to what the learner already knows. Okay, let's go over that again. New information is related to what the learner already knows. The second key concept of assimilation theory is the anchoring of ideas. I'll do that again. Anchoring of ideas. And finally, the third key concept of assimilation theory is the substance of ideas over verbatim language. So in meaningful learning, basically, the learner must learn the substance of ideas over the verbatim language. Now it's time for a quiz. The first question asks, in what year was Ausubel's assimilation theory introduced? Question number 2. What does assimilation theory propose? Question number 3. Assimilation emphasizes the foundation of appropriate new blank ideas before learning the specifics of an unfamiliar discipline. Question number 4. What is the opposite of meaningful learning?